Before we get started on the chart table, I have some sad news, at least for me. But hopefully some good news for somebody watching this video. SV Eleuthera is for sale. In 2019, I toured Eleuthera in Savu Savu, Fiji. If you're interested in an Amel Super Maramu, the link for the tour and JP's contact information is below. We also did a tour of SV Love the same day. The video was awesome, full of great tips, and for some reason just didn't get much love. I also put a link for the Love Boat tour as well. Z and I first met up with JP on Eleuthera in 2017. P has always remained a good friend and someone we could ask for help at any time. JP and Julie helped crew aboard Aquarius through the Panama Canal, and who can forget the great time bringing in 2018 on the Pacific side of Panama. And also my birthday in Tahiti. Eleuthera is currently in New Zealand, and from what I hear, she is ready to take you safely across the Pacific and beyond. Just show up with a few pair of sunglasses and your bathing suit. And guess what? You're in luck. The Pacific Circuit Rally is going to happen next year starting May 2022. Rally and boat for rally, a match made in heaven. I was hoping JP would catch up to me in Thailand, but now that just ain't in the cards. If you're looking for a very nice Amel Super Maramu, you found it. And now, let's tackle my chart table. SSB. I lost the whip antenna through rough seas in Fiji, but made a rope antenna that I can hoist during crossings. You know, it's kind of fun to listen to distant AM radio stations at night, and I also enjoy listening to hams all over the world. And the SSB can be a backup long-range VHF, which is really kind of cool. So, I'll keep it. The Furuno radar is the same one Amel installed on Aquarius when she was new. I did think about replacing it with the new Doppler technology, and if I had to single-hand Aquarius across the Indian, I might have replaced it. But it's still a damn good radar, and now that I know how to set all the alarms, I think it's just fine for the Indian Ocean crossing. The B&G Hydra 2000. I'm not completely in love with this display, but I do love the analog displays at the helm. I would really like to keep the Hydra 2000 systems for the life of the boat, and if everything keeps working, I will. This was just a cheap radio I installed in 2017, but I want Bluetooth, so this one has to go. The Shipmate VHF crapped out on us in Thailand, but it was never very good, so it's out of there. Jim, the previous owner of Aquarius, was working while sailing and had to have constant communication, so he had the Inmarsat handset and data transceiver installed, but we never used it. And we have the Iridium Go, which I think is the best way to go. I do have high hopes for Starlink, but sailing vessels will probably have to wait until 2023 for reliable service. There were also several witches, all different, and I didn't like the look. This will have to change. Then, over here, we have the Furuno WAS GPS. We'll keep it, just because it's a redundant GPS, and I use it every day while filling out my logbooks. But the computer and the weather facts, they have to go. We get our weather from Predict Wind over cell phone data when we have it, or Iridium Go while making crossings. We found the best deals for the Iridium Go service through Predict Wind. Let's get started. Cue the intro. In order to have days like this, you're going to have days like this. This is Tips on Tuesday. We're going to talk about what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. Stay tuned so you don't feel like doing this. If you like these videos, please subscribe and give us a like. And if you have anything to add to the conversation or any questions, please leave them below. So far, I've removed the weather facts and the old computer and the sliding table that the computer was attached to. You can also see on this side the Inmarsat handset and the data transceiver have also been removed. I covered the hole for the satellite data transceiver with a nice piece of wood engraved with Aquarius. It's time to remove that old VHF and replace those old switches. So let's get to work. So we're trying to get everything installed, and we're trying to put the AIS over here. I have a NavSec antenna, and I'm going to try to hook it up to the NavSec antenna. If not, I'm going to have to put a new antenna on the mast. But and then all the switches are going to go here, so we're going to have all the on-off switches here, and then a radio. Our radio's installed. It looks pretty nice. I spent an hour cleaning up after installation of the radio, and I transferred the Vesper AIS over under here so that I can have all the NMEA 2000 stuff here, and then I'm going to run a line up over to here so it'll go up to the helm. So I bought some new switches. Okay, it comes with a piggy tail, a switch, and then it comes with a little gasket. So anyways, this piggy tail plugs into the switch like that, and then we've ohmed this all out, and we ohmed it out, and we found out that red goes to plus 12, black goes to ground, and then yellow is the center, white is normally open, and green is normally closed. So if you want to short and then the light comes on when you press it and it opens up, then you would hook to green. But we're probably going to hook everything yellow white, so it shorts out when we push it in and it makes a light. Okay, now let's see here. Alright, so now when we push the button we get the green light, and when we turn it off we get nothing. Perfect. That's it, she's done. I'm just going to cut this wire off a little bit shorter, and that'll be it for that one. And that one's going to turn on our Hydra 2000. Awesome radio. It is just an awesome radio. Very happy with it. We'll test it out later. But the cool thing that I wanted to show you was my new lights switches. This one's the brake. It's on for the wind generator, but I can't get the light to work on that one. But anyways, now we got the Hydra up and going. The cool thing about this now is I've got the Hydra information coming out of the XB 8000 Wi-Fi, which is in here. So let's get this thing down. So I got my Vesper inside here now. and my NMEA 2000 bus is just right over down here. So since I put it over here now, I was able to hook up the Hydra 2000 just with one wire, because this is a NMEA box, and it has a purple wire in it, where all I had to do was hook up that purple wire to, oh well, purple and black goes to green and white on the other, and I was able to get the wind information. Now I'm sure that depth is going to go over as well, but right now I can't get depth. So it is really cool, because now what I'm trying to say is, for the last 2 years, I've been trying to figure out how to connect the Hydra 2000 so that I could have wind, depth, and water speed info on my NMEA 2000 bus, and thus out of the Vesper AIS Wi-Fi. This way, I could have my wind data onto the pads and the smartphones, which we use for navigation. Come to find out, it was only 2 wires that were not connected to anything else. Oh my God, what a find. If you are having trouble getting your Hydra 2000 to connect to the NMEA 2000 bus, there's an easy way. Just connect these wires and these wires. I wish I had known that 2 years ago. I have to finish the radio installation, and that means someone has to go up the mizzen mast to install the hailer. The hailer is a horn, a microphone, a speaker, a foghorn, and much, much more, all in one. It will look like this when it's finished. Since I'm all alone on the boat, I'll need someone else to go up and complete the installation, and I have just the person to do this. If Javilla was here, I would have done this myself with her help, but you really have to trust the person controlling the lines when you're up the mast. I always control the lines when someone else is up top on Aquarius. If anyone gets hurt, guess who's to blame? We're getting a speaker connected, a loudspeaker for the new ICOM. So I've already ran the wires, goes through here, back through there, that wire there, goes up to here, goes through here, all the way into here, and it comes down this line right here to there, and then in here, you can see it comes down here, goes into there. So this is in the aft bathroom. Dean's gets finished up there. We're gonna try it out. So this is my new radio, and I just love this thing because I can go down to AIS, enter, shows you all the boats, display. There's all the boats going out to 4.3 nautical miles. Go look at morning light. Oh, wait a second. Display, let's look at morning light. Morning light is American. It's just so easy to use. That's what I like about it. If I want to use the hailer, go menu, down to hailer, go enter, testing one, the hailer, and I can speak to anybody out there, and I can hear in front of the boat with the hailer. Back, let's turn that off. Let's go down to horn. Let's do a enter. Manual horn. Let's do that. Horn. Pretty cool. And let's go out of that. I mean, I just love the way this all works. It's just so freaking cool. So anyways, I love this. No, we're not going to do SOS. But let's get back to ship, and then let's do a radio check. To any vessel, this is sailing vessel Aquarius, radio check. Let's see if we get anything back. Nothing heard. We got our new B&G 320, I think it is, and that's hooked up to the NMEA 2000 bus, so that's going to be my spare. We'll put that up later on this week or next week. I think the chart table came out okay. There's much more functionality and redundancy in the systems, and there's nothing we won't use. I really love the ICOM 605 with the AIS receiver, and I really like the Bluetooth radio. It's a nice touch. But the best thing that happened during this project is that I finally figured out how to connect the Hydra 2000 to the Vesper XB 8000, and thus all of the data will now be on the NMEA 2000 bus. Hallelujah.
If you like this video, give us a like down below and click here to subscribe. That really helps us. And if you want to watch more of us, click one of those.
They said they came from Spanish.